So in our today's session, there is no PPT. This is more of an hands-on session. So we are going to cover the leftover item which are part of this SQL session, and we are going to additionally see some of the advanced SQL commands. So we'll first start with creating one table, and then we will see what we are trying to do hands-on today. Let me create a database. So I'm creating an employee table over here, and on this employee table we are going to see some of the queries. So first let me create the table. You guys can see me what I'm typing, right? Okay, I'm trying to create a table employee wherein I would be having column as employee ID, which is a unique key, or and that unique key I have defined it as primary. Then I would be having the first name of the employee, last name of the employee, joining date of the employee, salary of the employee, and department to which this particular employee belongs. After that, I would execute this query and see whether my table structure is created or not. Okay, so we have the employee ID, the first name, last name, joining date, salary, and department. The next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment it out everything, and I'm going to insert some of the information into this employee table. I will write it as insert into employee first name, last name, join date, salary, department, and the respective values. Let's say first name, then let's say date I decided as 2013, open 7-01. Instead of IT software, let me make it as IT support. Randomly IT support. Now my table is ready. I have two departments in this table, IT support and IT software. And I have all the first name, last name. I have the unique key, primary key associated with this particular table, and I have their salaries. And before making any operation, let me comment these things out so that we are not executing anything accidentally. Probably it got executed accidentally. Okay, no worries. We have around 23 records wherein we have all this information. Now what we are going to do, we are going to perform some of the SQL queries in this particular scenario. Now the very first thing that I'm going to show is group by clause. So in order to perform a group by, what we are going to do, we are going to put a count on employee ID, this particular column, the unique column. We are counting that particular employee ID and we are creating an alias of it. Let us consider the alias is employee count. This is the column name that would appear when this particular query would return result from the employee table, and it would group by department. Now let us see what's the result of this query. 13 and 10. Can anyone tell me what is this 13 and 10? We did a grouping on department. So there were essentially two departments, IT software and IT support. Now what are this 13 and 10? These are nothing but the employee count within that particular department. If we execute our regular query and we join together, we should see two things over here. Now if you go on counting IT software department, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 is the count. And if I go on IT support department, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So this group by, what it did, it is giving me a count of employees within that particular department. So whenever you want to group something basis on the column, for example department or any XYZ thing on your particular project, you would be applying a group by clause in your particular SQL query to pull that particular report. Now this department can be multiple as well. So in that case, total number of employees on that particular respective department would be returned to you by this particular query. Now, when I fire this particular query, I am just getting the count. Now, what is the scenario wherein I also want the department name also to be displayed alongside the count? So for that particular scenario, I would be modifying my query as department as what is the name of the column that I would like to see. That is department name from employee. Now what this query would do, it would add one more column alongside the employee count wherein it would show me the department name as well, like this. Department IT software 13 employee, department IT support 10 employee. Okay. Now next clause that is there in our particular SQL is an order by clause. Now in this particular department, if I apply a particular order by clause, it essentially orders the results that we are getting. So here I would be ordering my count and the order is descending. So when I put this descending order, it would essentially return me the same result. Why? Because this is already in descending order. But when I change the order to ascending, the result would be kind of upside down. That is 10 first and 13 next. So this is the use of order by clause. Now what is the use of having clause? This is the third type of clause in SQL Server. Now when I apply having clause, what I am doing is, let's say I am putting having count employee ID as greater than 4. Now it would essentially result me both the things. Now what I've put employee ID count greater than 10. It would return me only one result, that is the count which is greater than 10. So what it is essentially doing, it is checking the count of the employee in a particular department wherein the count of employee is greater than 10. If I put the count of employee greater than 9, so both 10 and 13 are greater than 9. So it would result me like that. If I put count greater than 13, then no result would be displayed. Only the structure would be displayed for you. So that is the three types of clause that are available in SQL. Any questions, anyone? Okay. So next what we are going to see is what are views in SQL Server. Do anyone know what are views in SQL Server? Okay. So views are temporary tables that are created in SQL Server for repetitive queries. So repetitive queries, let's say in our scenario, if you fire this particular query, we have different employees with different salaries. Now there may be a case in your particular HR department wherein I want to find on a monthly basis who are the highest paid employees in respective department. So for that the query is repetitive in nature. So what I would do, I would create a view of that particular query and store it in my database, so that every time I want to execute or find who is the highest paid employees, I can execute that query. So this table are temporary in nature. They are not table as such, but they are views. They are temporary in nature. So why we would be using view? Only in cases wherein we would be needing something that are repetitive in nature. In order to avoid doing the same thing again and again, we create a view and tend to reuse it. So let us create a view. So view starts with the keyword view and the name of the view. For example, I want to look for highest paid employees in this particular table. So what I would do, I would create a view. The name of the view would be highest paid employee and what all fields I want to look. So I would be needing the names of the employee, the first name and last name. Then I would also be needing their salary information. Salary, I don't want to rename it to anything. Then I would be needing their department information. For every column, I have created an alias, you could see. For first name, I am creating an alias as first name. For last name, I am creating an alias as last name. For salary, I am creating an alias as salary. And for department, I am creating an alias as department. Now, I have created a select statement. But from where it would select? It would select from employee table. Okay. Now, I want to select who are the top paid employees. Now, when I decide or come to a conclusion who are top paid employees, I want to decide something, whether according to me, what is that particular benchmark. So let's say in my case, I consider all the employees whose salary is greater than 20,000 are top paid employees. So I would create my views as highest paid employee are those employees whose salaries are more than 20,000. So after that, I would execute this particular view. The view is created successfully. If I refresh this database, you could see the view somewhere here. You could see the view is created and this is our table. So table are permanent in nature, views are temporary in nature. So temporary views are created. Now when I want to see a particular view, I would be using the select statement as select star from, not the table name. This time I would be querying the view. Okay, so it would represent the view. So you could see these are the employees whose salary is greater than 20,000. So every time I execute this query, depending on how many how many employees are there in that particular employee table, the view would be refreshed. Let's say instead of 10, there are 50 new employees added on this particular scenario. So it would return me all those 50 results. So one advantage of view is that you just write once, you query it multiple number of times, it won't be affected if there are any new additional information or new additional employees that are added into that particular table. Every time you execute this view, a fresh copy of the information would be presented in front of you. Okay, any questions anyone on views, group by, order by, having clause? Okay. Now let us move to rank commands. Sorry, rank function in SQL. Now what are rank function in SQL? So it is used to rank the repeating values in a manner such that similar values are ranked the same. So similar values is like the salary values or the department values. The values which are similar in nature, they would be ranked based on that particular uh, scenario. So you can say that rank function returns the rank of each row within the partition of a particular result. So there are two ways in SQL basis on which you would apply rank function. One way, sorry, one way is with partition and the other way is without partition. So let us first check executing rank function on a typical salary without using partition, what it would return us. So let us say I'm writing a query as select star rank function in SQL over on what I want to apply the rank. Now before applying the rank, I need to order the salary by salary column by descending order. And I would name that particular column as rank from employee. Okay. Can anyone tell me what has happened over here? Looking into this particular query. I have applied rank on salary column. Okay. So if you see this salary column, you could see the salary is displayed in descending order, which our query is supposed to do. Now, on that particular salary column, we have applied rank function. So what is the purpose of rank function? It ranks your information. It gives a ranking to your column, like rank number 1, rank number 2, rank number 3, rank number 4, rank number 5, and so on. Okay, so basis on the information or the column on which you apply a particular rank, it essentially ranks them from in an increasing order. Now here you could see the highest salary is ranked as 1, which is fine. Now the second highest salary is ranked as 3. Can anyone tell me why it is ranked as 3, not as 2?
Because 2 is already taken by, there's 2 1s, right? Is that the logic?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there are two employees with the same salary, so they both rank them one, and like they rank the third one is third.
Okay. By going by your saying, this is the fourth rank, this is the fifth, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I do not see a sequence over here. Why this sequence is not maintained?
Maybe it grouped all the equal salaries by one group, so the rank one.
There is no grouping as such at this point of time, because for grouping we haven't did any partition so far. This is an ungrouped result. Okay, so what happens essentially in rank function is it maintains the gap. Maintains the gap as in 1, 1, then the next item. That is, instead of 2, it would take it as a 3. Then 3, 4, instead of this particular 4, it has taken up as 3. So it doesn't follow a sequence at all, because what rank function does, it provides a consecutive numbering except in case of tie. So here you could see there is a tie. So since it is a tie, it doesn't what I would say, assign a consecutive numbering or a numbering in increased format. Whenever there is a tie, it would include all those ranking as same. So here you could see this 25,000, they are tie in a typical salary context. There is a tie between this particular row. So it doesn't give the consecutive numbering in this case. Instead, it gives the same numbering in this case, but it does maintain the gap. Maintain the gap as in 1, 2, then 3. Although it is a tie, it has assigned the rank as 1, it would switch to next item as 3. So it has maintained the gap of 2. So although it is having the tie 35,000, so instead of numbering it as 4, it has numbered it as 3, but the next item starts from 5. Same thing over here. Whenever there is a tie, it assigns the same ranking to those rows, but the next consecutive item starts from its original sequencing, that is 11. So instead of 10 over here, the next after 10 over here, the next consecutive item is 11. After 17 over here, the next consecutive item is 18. After 19 over here, the next consecutive item is 20. After 21 over here, the next consecutive item is 22. So in case of tie, it gives the same ranking, but it does maintains the gap. That is the functionality of your rank function in SQL. Now what if I apply a partition to this? So same query, what I would do, I would write select star from rank over, let me put a partition on department column because we have two department over here. Ordered by salary in the same descending order as, name the alias as rank from employee. Okay, select star comma rank over partition by department ordered by salary in descending order as rank from employee. Now here I am applying rank function over a partition. Now what you see the difference in result. So partition is applied that we could see on department table. All the software, IT software, they come under one group, and all the IT support, they come under one group. Now what's the difference you see over here? Compared to our earlier example, just focus on these three columns: salary, department, and rank. Any difference you found out? It's the same thing, right? Only thing is that we have applied a partition on the department column so that we get a better ranking based on the department. So in our earlier case, we had ranking, but we didn't had a partition on the department, so the results were confused. Now I want to rank the salary based on the department. So what I did, I first partitioned the department in my particular query, partition by department, and on that partition I applied the order by salary in descending order. So it picked up the IT software department first, then it ordered the salary in descending order, and it started ranking. After this partition ranking is done, the next partition was selected, that is IT support department, and then their salaries were ranked. If you see the result, you closely observe, there is a tie in 50,000 and 50,000. So the rank is 1, shared by 50,000 salary in IT software department. After that, the next item is the third rank. Since second is a tie, it started with third rank. So 25, 25, 25 thereon, and the next item after 8 is 9. The next item after 11 is 12 and 13 and so on. It's the same thing, but the only difference in the result is this time it has partitioned based on the department. So in our real-time situation, if we would like to get some information in a particular typical scenario wherein there are different categories available, we can apply first partition on those category, and basis on those category, whatever the quantitative analysis we are doing, we can apply ranking on them. So the first example which I showed you, that is not a feasible approach. This is more of a feasible approach. After that, there is something in SQL called as dense rank. So first this is rank, then there is a function called as dense rank. Now what happens in dense rank? Let us apply dense rank and see. So the pink highlighted words are keywords in SQL. So the moment I enter this word, the SQL editor through its intelligence feature identifies those keywords or the functions. Salary in descending order as, let's say, name it as dense rank from employee. Let me execute this query, and this is the result in front of you. Now what is happening here? Compare it with the rank results. Or let me parallelly execute both the queries so that you should be able to find the difference. Rank over order by salary descending as rank. This is the result of rank. This is the result of dense rank function. Now you tell me what's the difference you see over here. There is only one difference to give you a hint.
The ranking exchange advantage was sequential.
Yes, that is the difference. In rank function, it maintains the gap. One, whenever there is a tie, it maintains the gap and it goes to 3. But in case of dense rank, it doesn't maintain the gap. Even though it's a tie, it starts with the next sequence 2, 3, 3, 3, and 4, 4, 4, and so on. Now, what would happen in case of partition? If we apply partition on this dense rank, what would happen? Let us check. So I write here select star comma dense rank over partition by department. I am putting a partition again on department ordered by salary in descending order as the alias would be again dense rank from employee. From employee. It's the same thing essentially. It has first grouped the department into two partition, IT software and IT support, and after that it applied the same thing without maintaining any gap. 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4, and so. After that, what are the other SQL I mean, that you should know? Row number. order by salary in descending order as, alias I would name it as row number from. What is happening over here? You can see a sequence over here, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. But before that sequence, something has happened. We have ordered the salary in descending order, and after that we have applied a row number. Now this row number is something temporary in nature. Now why would you use this kind of sequencing in SQL Server? Any thoughts why we would be needing this row number functionality or the row number function in SQL? Anything you could relate? Okay, so imagine a scenario wherein you are asked by your respective authority or the stakeholder to pull up a report in that particular uh, situation. So let's say our situation given by the stakeholder is hey look, go and pull up a report on the department for the employees, and the salary should be in descending order. Okay, now you go to that particular system and you pull up this particular report. Now when you pull up this particular SQL report ordered by salary in descending order, and you see the sequence in employee ID is not in sequence format. You see 5 is coming first, 16 is coming first, 21, 15, 13, 14, 6 and 12. And this is a part of editor feature, SQL editor feature. So this is something that is not going to print on your particular report. Now you are looking for a solution wherein you could assign a sequential number to that particular report. So that sequential number would be provided by your row number. Whenever your information is not in a sequential format and you want to indicate that information in a sequential format, you use the row number functionality of SQL, wherein it gives you a sequence for that particular number. You can give any name to this row number as per your choice. For example, serial number. You can give this number as well, depending on your scenario. So it's not that you give that. So your report would start from serial number and then all your information would contain that particular report. So this is an scenario wherein you would be using row number in a particular SQL Server given context. Now, if I apply a partition on that, what would happen? Let us check. It's the same thing, but there would be some difference. I would again apply partition on department order by salary in descending order as the alias, let me give it as same serial number from employee table. So it gave me a more formatted result, wherein all the department, the sequence it has done, and once that department sequence got over, it started with a new sequence. So it grouped the department based on the partition, and after that it applied the serial number. So this way you can enhance your report to a level further. Next, there is something called as end-tile function in SQL. So end-tile function essentially takes one input expression or an input parameter like any particular number. Let's say I put this number as 4 over the same thing, order by salary in descending order as end-tile demo. Let me see the column name from employee table. Now this is the result of end-tile function. Now can anyone explain me what it did? We did an order by on salary in descending order, and then we took up this particular parameter as 4 in end-tile. Now basis on that particular parameter 4, it grouped these salary into 4 parts. Okay, the group 1 from here till here, then started the group 2 from here till here, then started group 3 from here till here, and then started group 4 from here till here. So it essentially groups your information basis on the expression that you provide, basis on the parameter that you provide over here. So let's say if I put it 8 over here, it would group your records into 8 parts. Let's say if I put 6 over here, it would divide your information into 6 groups. Now what is the application that it would correspond to when it comes to real-time scenario? So probably one of the situation would be like if you are working on a project wherein you have to do some market segmentation basis on the pattern, basis on the, let's say you are doing a market segmentation and want to find out that uh, what I would say, market segmentation basis on the customer, and basis on the customer spend pattern you would like to suggest them some offer. So what you would do in such scenario, you can use entile function, wherein instead of salary you would be having the spends, whether it's monthly spends or annual spends of that particular customer, and depending on that spends you would be applying entile function and do a segmentation of those customers. Which are the customer who falls into segment 1, which are the customer who falls into segment 3, which are the customers who falls into segment third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and depending on those segmentation you go about suggesting them offers. For example, the customers who are high spenders, you would be giving them let's say 40% discount. The customer who are the second highest spender, you would be giving them, let's say, 35% discount, followed by 30% discount or 25% discount. So depending on your area of segmentation, you can apply this market segmentation with the help of entile function in SQL Server. Now this was the case when we applied entile function without partition. Now what would happen if I apply entile function with partition? Let us check. Select star, comma, entile, let the expression be 4 over.
So the discount which we will be giving is for every bucket, is it, irrespective of the number of salaries in each month? Or
No, that is not relevant to this particular table. I am giving you an imaginary situation wherein instead of salary, let's say the bucket is of annual spends. So depending on the highest spends, you would be giving more discount, followed by the second highest spend, a little lower discount. My salary in descending order as entire demo from employee. Let's start from my entire 4 over partition by department order by salary discount, salary descending order as employee from employee. Now what I did a partition on the department. Now depending on the department, it divided the items into 4 groups. Now in the market segmentation example that we had earlier, if we map that example to this, what this department correspond to? So let's say area. So customer from region A and with highest salary spends would fall into the first bucket. The customer from region A with the second highest salary spend would fall into the second category. Similarly, the customer from region B with highest spend would fall into this category. The customer with second highest spend in region B would fall into this particular category. Let's say the customer is from US region or the customer is from India region. The spend pattern would be different. The spend categorization would be different. So if you want to detail out more or do more in-depth market segmentation analysis, you can do partition of the other columns that are available to you. So it's not mandatory that you have to take a decision basis on one particular column. You can apply or refine your result basis on other columns as well. So these are some of the situation wherein you would be using entile function in SQL. Okay, so these were some of the commands that a business analyst should know from SQL Server standard.